Hey folks, welcome to another video edition of the Georgia Sports Craze. Today it's going to be kind of an impromptu one. I'm going to talk about something that I've been trying to avoid if you've been reading my blog for quite a while now, and that's the NBA lockout. Yeah, but the mustache is coming along. We're starting to get some length and some curl to it. So watch out, Raleigh fingers. I'm coming after you. Um, I'm not going to have anything written and prepared for this NBA lockout one. I'm just going to kind of talk about it because it's one of those things that drives me so crazy it makes me want to kick puppies. Don't worry, I would never actually go out and kick a puppy, but it does drive me nuts. Big thing I can say to the owners and players alike is just stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. You're ridiculous. All of you. Absolutely out of hand. This whole thing is crazy. First to the players, let me say this you're playing a game. It's a game, and yeah, you do it well, and yeah, you entertain a lot of people. But that's the bottom line. It's a game, and it's entertainment. You're not doing anything that's any type of great socially redeeming value here. You're doing something to entertain folks, and just like the rest of us. You have to plan for your future. You knew going into it that there's a chance for injury. There's a chance for, for a short career. That's part of the risk of playing a professional sport. And since less than 1% of the entire population gets to play a sport for a living and get paid the kind of money that you people do, then you've got to plan out in advance that, your career might be ending. And you're looking for guarantees. You're looking for something that nobody has. Nobody gets a guarantee that when they're done with whatever it is that they're going to do, that they're going to be set for the rest of their life. Welcome to the real world. Welcome to what the rest of us have to do. You try to plan it out as best as you can, and if something happens, you might not have everything that you thought you were going to have. Getting to drive the big fancy cars and getting to have the big luxury mansions and getting to take care of your family in a way that they're accustomed to is a luxury. It's not a right, it's a privilege. And it may not always be that way. That's the way it is in the real world. A lot of us have to deal with it. So, welcome to our world. Um, you've got a lot of nerve to try to think that you can say that you deserve these millions and millions of dollars. I'll tell you a little story about a woman who's very near and dear to me, and I'm not going to mention any names. Let's just say we'll call her Mom for now. And Mom worked for 20 years for a school system, and she did something that was for the betterment of our society and brought hope and tried to help kids with special needs and kids that were gifted and kids that were truant and trying to keep them in school. And she was in a very severe accident while she was on the clock doing something for her job. And she was left permanently and totally disabled. Uh, it was just one of those things that happened. There's nobody to blame. It was an accident. But she, through the course of her Social Security disability and her pension from the state from that she worked for, she's bringing home. I think it's a little less than $1,000 a month or so. That's poverty level. This is someone who worked for 20 years at the same job tirelessly and planned as best as she could for her retirement. And now she's kind of left hanging out in the wind. Um, the government's not going to do anything about it. Nobody's going to do anything about it. And there's nothing that can be said other than that's just the way it is. So for you to come forth and think that you are more valuable than someone like Mom, I think that's ludicrous, and I take offense to that. To the owners, I'll say this: stop it. You are causing a lot of this problem. You are paying these people way too much money. You are the owner of the team. You are in control. Act like you're in control. Stop paying these ridiculous salaries. You know, it's not that important. It's a game. It doesn't matter who's playing the game. We're fans. We're going to come see it. Okay? We're going to come see play whoever you put out there, the true fans are. It doesn't matter if you're paying Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Charles Barkley or anybody else millions and millions of dollars. We just want to see the game. We want to see our team do well. And that's what's important. It's not important that, all these monies that you're paying out is just ridiculous. Be in control. If you're hemorrhaging that much money, if you're losing as much money as you say you are, which I have my doubts anyway, it's nobody to blame but yourself. You're the one who agreed to these ridiculous contracts, to these ridiculous things. You're the ones that are giving the players over 50% of the revenues. Nobody has that deal. Nobody in any profession has that deal where they're going to get 50% of the revenues. Come on, be real, owners. You know, if it's too much for you, then sell, get out, fold your team, whatever you got to do. But this, locking out and stopping the league and things that you're doing, it's not helping anyone, and it's certainly not helping you. You've got to be in control and act like you're in control. If it means that you got to get cheaper players that play for less and that maybe aren't quite as talented, so be it. That's the way it is. It's a sports league. This is not going to be the end of the world. You're still going to have fans that are going to show up, maybe even more. If you're not paying these ridiculous salaries, maybe ticket prices would be affordable. Maybe more people would come and see your product on a regular basis. Maybe season ticket sales would go up. Maybe the vendor sales at the games would go up because people aren't paying, $200 a piece for tickets. I mean, the whole thing is just spiraled out of control, and somebody's got to stop it. And to the players and to the owners alike, what's going on here? You're arguing. You can't even disagree to agree. You're saying the owners are saying there's a huge gap, and the players are saying there's not so much a gap, and it's all this he said, she said. It's ridiculous, okay? But what you are doing is hurting people who don't deserve to be hurt. You're hurting the vendors. You're hurting the ticket salespeople. You're hurting the people who run parking lots out in the street. All these little people who depend on you, whose livelihood is based on you playing a game and doing the best that you can. You are casting them out. You're sticking them aside and brushing them aside like they don't matter. Just the way that most millionaires and billionaires in this country do. The little guy doesn't matter. Put yourself above that. Be better than that. And this goes out to all the sports leagues, not just the NBA, because you're all guilty of it. You've all had lockouts and strikes and walkouts and all this stuff. Be bigger than that. Be a part of your community. That's what you're supposed to be. You are supposed to be a representative and a part of your community. And when you have a lockout or when you have a strike, when you stop a season the way that this season is now being stopped and other seasons have in the past, all you're doing is hurting the little people. Okay? You're not being a part of the community. You're hurting your community. And that's not what it's supposed to be about. So fix it. Stop it and fix it. Okay? If it means that you have to take these players and say no, and if they want to quit and start their own league or whatever it is that they're going to do, let them do it. You own the team. And players, you work for the owners. They own the team. Okay? They're in control. That's just the way it is. You don't like it? Then live up to your threats and go start your own league or whatever it is you want to do. But let's get this season underway. I really personally could care less whether there's an NBA season or not. However, I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't necessarily fans, but people who struggle every day, people who are trying to make ends meet, who you are killing right now. You are absolutely killing. And if you can't feel any remorse about that, if you can't feel like you have some sort of responsibility to get this done and get it done so that these people can get on with their lives, then we don't need you in our communities. We don't need your league. We don't need your team. We don't need any of it. There's plenty of other things for us to keep us entertained out there. There's plenty of other sports organizations and entertainers and actors and bands that are more than willing to take our money, and we'll give it to them. And finally, I'll say to the fans out there, vote with your wallet, okay? If you don't like this, if you don't like what the NBA and any other league is doing for that matter, vote with your wallet, okay? Don't buy the tickets. Don't go buy the jerseys. Don't buy the hats. Don't give these people your money if you're not happy with the product or if you're not happy with the way that they're treating the community. Let them know that you have a voice in this because you do, okay? It might mean that a team folds or a team picks up and moves elsewhere. And if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. At least they're not hurting your community anymore. At least the people who are depending on these folks will know that, hey, they're gone for good. I can move on and do something else or whatever the case may be. But be a true fan. A true fan doesn't let these owners and these players make the game belong to them, because the game belongs to us. The game belongs to you. And that's all I got to say about that. I hope it gets resolved soon. And for anybody out there who's looking at this, who is part of that group of people who have lost their jobs and lost their income due to this ridiculous lockout in the NBA, I personally say to you that I feel for you and I'm sorry. And if there was anything, if this video and anything I say in some way helps this, I hope it does, and I hope it helps you out. I've been in your position. I know what it's like to be out of work, and keep your dignity, keep your head up. Things will come about for you. Just keep working at it, and all the best. That's it for today for the Georgia Sports Craze. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll put a link to it on my blog as well. And have a great day.